Hey, this is Holly with the Wild Blessings. This is another Teaching Tuesday. This is just going to be a short summary of what I've been up to and what's coming up. And I want to just welcome all the new members. I'm so honored that you would join me. We have hit over 700 members, which really is very humbling to me and exciting. So I'm glad to be spreading wildfires. If you are new, please notice that I welcomed you in a welcome post and let me know where you live. If you're local, there's all kinds of in-person events that I have going on all summer, probably through to October. So you can find out about those on my website, wildblessings.com. And also let me know where you are in this foraging journey and what you hope to learn together. So that would really help me, and it would be a fun way to connect. So much to talk about. I'm just going to briefly tell you a little bit about the class that we're going to be posting tonight, which is about blackberry. And don't tune me out. It is absolutely astonishing what you're going to learn. So I'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about what I did at the Horn in the West last Saturday, which was so much fun, even though it rained. And then I'm going to talk to you about a course I have going on all summer bi-monthly. It's called Befriending Plants. And we befriended Mullein this last time. I want to give you a little bit of highlights from that. And then I'm going to tell you about the Forage to Feast coming up, which will be August the 20th. And it'll be a Greek wild cuisine. So that's where we're heading. And I'll try to keep it really short. So the blackberry class will be posted right after this short Teaching Tuesday right now with you. So I would hope that you would watch it, and please comment. And it'll be put on YouTube, so if you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing. And we can see if we can grow our YouTube channel, which would be wonderful. So the Horn in the West was really, really fun, because the Horn in the West was very important to me when my boys were high schoolers, and we were studying the Revolutionary War and the settlers and the frontiersmen and all of that. We always do deep dives into things, and so it was, they let us use their cabins, they let us borrow costumes. Of course, we made a lot of our own costumes, and so it was just super fun to be a part of that community, and the boys would be extras in the drama, which is the Daniel Boone Outdoor Amphitheater, which occurs throughout the summer, and that was really fun, and I would help in sewing in the back room. So nature was the original supermarket, and it makes you kind of wonder, well, what did these frontiersmen do as they pushed westward with their expansion? Or the Oregon Trail, there wasn't a grocery store waiting for them, but there really was. And so there's a lot of wild edible plants that the old world, the people from the old world that came to the new world brought with them. They would sew them into the hems of their garments because they couldn't imagine leaving home without dandelion or without plantain or without some of these amazing plants that originated over in Europe. So they brought them over here, and they quickly spread and became weed status, and then introduced them to the Native Americans. And the Native Americans did a great service to the settlers in introducing them to so many plants as well. So Mullein is, well, let me talk a little bit more about Horn in the West. So I did a few just little shorts, which I put on earlier, so you could check those out. Jason did them for me while I was there. And there's about 20 people that showed up, which was a miracle because it was in a major downpour. But it was really kind of fun being on that authentic porch of that actual homestead that was here, 100 and how many, over 200 years ago. Okay, so one of the things that I did, I made 8 different wild teas that they would have drunk back at that time, but one of the ones that they would have really enjoyed for vitamin C in particular is sumac, which looks like this, and you see them out there right now. And they're these beautiful red bobs or spires, and they have a malic acid on them. So if you were to eat one of these little berries or just lick on it, it puckers your mouth and it tastes just like a lemon. So I like to make lemonade out of it, or the colonists call it Indian lemonade tea. And so it was made with these berries. And the way you make it is you just take these bobs and you throw them into cold water, and you just sit them in the sun on the windowsill until you get the nice, rich, lemony flavor that you're looking for. So that is this, and this is what the look at that compound leaflet. This is one leaf, and look at all those little leaflets, and it's an oddly compound. Little serrated edges. They're just so beautiful. And there's so much to say about this plant, but I'm not going to bother right now. I just wanted to let you know that it's an amazing source of vitamin C, which is an incredibly important antioxidant that our bodies must have. So if you've got these around, then you're good. They're just so good for you and delicious. The reason why I do it in cold water is because the bark of the sumac is very astringent and very full of tannins. And so they used it to actually tan hides and so forth. So you don't want that bitterness and that astringency to be leached out by using a hot infusion. Just use cold water. And it tastes really good. So those who come to my Befriending Plants class or my next plant walk will get to sample this. And the other one that I didn't get a chance to make, which I finally did make, actually, is this is sassafras root, which smells just like root beer, and it was the original root beer. And so look at how rich and dark that is. And I sweetened this one a little bit with, what did I put in here? Molasses. And then I sweetened this one with monk fruit. No, stevia. Okay, so this is delicious. In fact, I think I'll try some right now. The medicinal quality or properties of sassafras is pretty legendary, and this was actually the first crop that was exported to England from the colonies, and it actually had a quantity that you had to, a quota that you had to provide to send back to the crown. And if you didn't come up with the quantity that you were supposed to, the quota, then you had to pay for it in tobacco. So there's a lot to say about that. I'm writing a blog on it, so you'll learn about it there. Other things, hold on. Wow, that is so good. Other things that I forgot to talk about at the Horn in the West is the ironweed, and that's out now as well. And they're huge. They get to be like 12 or 15 feet tall, and I just cut little tiny the flowers off, so this doesn't look huge. But what they used these for is they would stuff mattresses with it, because the nice big stalks would give some firmness to it, and it's such a insecticide that it would keep bed bugs away. So you can eat those flowers in salad. It has medicinal qualities as well, but this is something that the settlers and the frontiers people used quite a bit of. Okay, so look for a blog, and I'll be posting that on Wild Blessings with Holly Drake. Okay, so my favorite thing I do in all of that wild blessings here is I love my Befriending Plants class, because what we get to do is we get to dig deep into one plant for 2 hours, and we first start off with just kind of a question about what kind of a reputation that plant has, and we talk about it personally as well. I'll show you what my format looks like. So I call it Making Friends with Plants, going from strangers to allies. So you might not know what this plant is. It might be a complete stranger to you, but by the time we've done all of these different activities where we are really delving into experiencing the plant as well as just learning about it, we go from strangers to acquaintances to friends to allies, where you just can't imagine your life without this plant. So there's a form that everybody fills out while I discuss it, and then everyone draws a picture of it, and we gather it and dry it and infuse it and study it and make medicine out of it and cook with it and draw a picture of it, and then we celebrate it by writing poetry. So this particular plant is really special to me because it has so many amazing gifts, but one of the reasons why I was particularly interested in this is that the seed actually is, the way you get more of it is, Jim McDonald says, have a burn pile and then take mullein seeds and just throw them on the burn pile, and then the next year you'll have lots of little mullein plants coming up. This is a biennial, so it lives for 2 years, but the first year is just a beautiful rosette that is just these very velvety leaves that are all over on the ground like a rosette. And then the second year, the energy goes up the stalk into making these really beautiful flower stalks. And so the leaves are particularly powerful for lung support, and they have little hairs on them, just like the cilia inside of our lungs, so that kind of gives you a hint that this might be really helpful for respiratory issues, and it really, truly is. If you look at how tall and straight this is, and you think of what's straight in your own body, is your spine, and so the part that helps with that is the root. And there's absolutely amazing stories that people have shared about how that has helped them. I've never tried it for that personally, but I've taken it to others as well that have had that problem. And then the flowers in particular are super helpful for ear infection because they are anodyne, which means they calm the, yes?
Could you bring it down some?
Oh yeah, you can't see it? Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll just pull it out of this.
Yeah.
All right. So the anodyne means that it actually helps with pain, and it is also a bacterial side, so it can kill bacteria, and it also is a lymph mover. So if a little one has an ear infection or something, this is so famous for you just make an oil out of it. So here's the oil that my team made with me, and so we collected a bunch of the flowers, and I wanted to share with you guys how cool this is. I put this in water, and it started, we had already pulled off all the flowers, and then the next day they just kind of pop up sporadically. These other ones popped up. So I recommend taking, if you want to make flower oil with this is just olive oil, then just put it in water on your counter, and then you can just every day harvest some more of the flowers. And then I like to just keep this on in a, like kind of on a windowsill, but not in direct sun. So look at all these fresh flowers I was able to get off from the ones that just popped up today, which is super cool because my mullein patch is about 2 blocks away. So if I was originally, I used to just walk there all the time and get my flowers, but now I just came up with this idea of just keeping it on my counter. So you probably, if you've been working with mullein for any length of time, maybe you figured that out. But this is the first time I've ever figured that out. So that was kind of fun. And then the other crazy thing we did with mullein is this is a last year's skeleton. So all of the energy is now just in the seeds. Actually, these seeds are gone because we burned them. But this was very famous, used by the Romans for torches, and it's also called witch's taper or taper's hag, or I don't know what. Anyway, what it is you just take tallow, you dip this whole stalk in tallow, and then you can light it on fire. So when I was at the Horn in the West, I had this next to me, and we lit it on fire, and it just burned the whole time I was speaking, which was fun. And what's crazy about it is the little seeds inside of these hardened rosettes, there's millions of them, they have rutinone in them, which is a insecticide. So when you burn them, not only does it provide light, but it also keeps the mosquitoes and black flies and whatever else people were dealing with at bay. So I think that's kind of fun. Let's see. Oh, I know. I wanted to share this verse with you. So in thinking about mullein and how fire, it's born of fire, and it's also born of clear cuts. So it will come to heal the earth after a clear cut. And one time I was looking for Hawthorne Haws, and there weren't any to be found because the birds already got them before I got there. But I thought, well, I wonder what else is out there in nature. And so right across the cow fence was a ton, like hundreds and hundreds of first-year mullein plants, and they were so beautiful. I'll post pictures in my comments below because it was astonishing. And so that's the time when you want to gather them for the root, because the energy is in the root, and that's when you would make your root medicine. However, and also that's the best time to make the medicine or to make the tea, to dry it for tea for lung conditions. And it's a delicious tea, absolutely delicious. So I was thinking about that, and I wrote a blog on it actually, so I'll give you a link to that. But listen to this scripture. It says, "But thus says the Lord your Creator, and He who formed you, Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they will not overflow you. And when you walk through the fire, you will not be scorched, nor will the flame burn you, for I am the Lord your God. So it says that we will go through waters, and we will go through trials, and we will go through fires, but we will be with him. And God is always with us in the midst of whatever we're facing. So that really kind of helped me think through how much I appreciate mullein and how it is born of fire. So one of the last things we do in our class is we also look at what parts of our bodies are affected and benefited by using mullein. And then I give mullein recipes, a mullein action list, and then we write poems. And so this last Tuesday, it was so amazing. We all stood around the torch, which the girls put in the front yard and lit on fire, and we all shared our mullein poems. And it was so much fun. And so Lexi did a couple haikus, which I don't have them to read to you, but I do have one to read from Laura Went. So this was one she wrote a few years ago. Slow and steady, born in fire, you don't burn out quickly. You take your sweet, soft time from rosette to towering stalk. You bring us light, you help us breathe, and you take away our pain. You lubricate, boost our immune system. Mullein, verbascum thapsus, make us as flexible as you. Make us patient, a self-starter, and when our fire comes, make us a light bringer too. So I still love that one, Laura. That is just so amazing. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I am having another Befriending Plant class this coming Tuesday. Yes, a week from today. And I'm still not decided which plant it's going to be. I'm kind of thinking I might want to do blackberry because it's such an astonishing gift. It's more than just a tasty berry. It's actually not a berry and it's not a fruit. You'll have to watch my class to find out exactly what it is. But they're out now, and there's just so much that you can do with medicine and with food with blackberries. So I might do that, but I'm also thinking I might do marshmallow. I'll let you know. Anyway, join me on that. It is such a wonderful time to connect with each other and with the plants, and I just love being in person. Every day that I and it's I promise it'll be very memorable. So I'm trying to see. Okay, so my recipes for the Greek cuisine are cattail tzatziki sauce, wild grape dalmathes, lamb's quarter terebitas, milkweed peas, burdock gyros, chicken breast Athenian with butternuts, and then elderflower baklava with butternuts. And then I think we'll have the blackberry wine along with some other drinks. I've got lots of drinks that I'll be offering. One more thing I wanted to, so sign up for that. And if you are, it's $85. But if you are a Patreon member, it's $45. So thank you, all of my Patreon members. I appreciate you so much. It helps me keep this class free, and so much of what I do to be able to serve the community, I'm able to do because you guys are serving me. So thank you so much. Okay, so this is what the milkweed pods, when they're this size, this is the size you want for making okra or for making potatoes. And they need to be firm. And then when they get to be this big, then you just break them open. And if the seeds are still white, like that, see there's no beige in there at all, they haven't started to turn brown, then they are, this one's starting to get tough. So maybe this one's a little bit too far gone. So maybe a little shorter, and when you open it up and you'll see they're very sweet and they have a real nice chew factor where they just come right off, and you can use that as a cheese substitute. Okay, what else did I want to say? Oh, and then August the 27th, I have a plant walk, and that'll be in West Jefferson at Ken and Renee Livingston's house property. So that'll be fun. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, go to my website and you'll see the link where you can do that. One more thing I wanted to share is that my garden, our garden, is finally starting to produce. So we have our own green beans and some cucumbers, and the tomatoes haven't ripened quite a lot yet, but they look good. I just need a little more sunshine.
How about any of you growing tomatoes? Put a comment in below and tell us if your tomatoes are ripening yet. Maybe all this rain has kept them from getting juicy red.
It's been a cool summer.
So let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and I want to thank Brendan Reardon. He did a class last week with us answering questions about midsummer garden woes, and that was awesome. So I'll put that in the comments below, so if you can watch that, that's on YouTube. And he's just been saying, Holly, just stick with it. It's gonna happen. And to tell you the truth, I don't have as much confidence in my gardening abilities as I do in God's ability to grow things, and that's why I like being a forager. But I think it's nice to do both, and to be prepared with, empowered with these skills that are part of our heritage, our wild heritage. So thank you for joining me. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you can join me in any of the things I just described to you. And watch my Blackberry class. And if you do and you comment, let me know what you think and what you're cooking and what you're doing with blackberries and how you're gathering them. So thank you, and God bless you all.